things.
Well, what's the matter? His daughter, in the Eros kingdom, whom he purposed to his wife's sole son, a widow Lely he married, hath referred herself unto a poor, but worthy gentleman. She's wedded, her husband banished, she imprisoned. All is outward sorrow, though I think the king be touched the very heart.
None but the king?
He that hath lost her too. So is the queen, that most desired match. But not a courtier, although they wear their faces to the bent of the king's looks, hath a heart that is not glad of that they may scowl at.
And why so?
He that hath missed the princess is a thing too bad for report. And he that hath her, I mean that married her, alack, good man, and therefore banished, is a creature such as, to seek through the regions of the earth for one his life, there would be something failing in him that should compare. I do not think so fair and outward, and such stuff within endows a man but he.
I honor him, even out of your report. But pray you tell me, what's his name and birth?
His father was called Sicilius, who did join his honor against the Romans. He served with glory and admired success, so gained the surdition Leonatus, and had, besides this gentleman in question, 2 other sons, who in the wars of the time died with their swords at hand, for which their father, then old and fond of issue, took such sorrow that he quit being, and his gentle lady, big of this gentleman or theme, deceased as he was born. The king, he takes the babe to his protection, calls him Posthumus Leonatus, breeds him and makes him of his bedchamber, puts to him all the learnings that his time can make him the receiver of.
You speak him far, but pray you tell me, is she sole child to the king?
His only child. He had 2 sons. If this be worth your hearing, mark it. The eldest of them at 3 years old, and the swathing clothes the other, from their nursery, were stolen. And to this hour, no guessing knowledge which way they went.
How long is this ago?
Some 20 years.
That a king's son should be so conveyed, so slackly guarded, and the search so slow that could not trace them.
Howsoever 'tis strange, or that the negligence may well be laughed at. Yet it is true, sir.
I do well believe you.
We must forbear. Here comes the gentleman, the queen, and princess.
No, be assured, you will not find me, daughter, after the slander of most stepmothers, evil eyed unto you. You are my prisoner, but your jailer shall deliver you the keys that lock up your restraint. For you, Posthumus, so soon as I can win the offended king, I'll be known your advocate. Marry. Yet the fire of rage is in him, and 'twere good you leaned unto his sentence, with what patience your wisdom may inform you.
Please, your highness, I will from hence today.
You know the peril. I'll fetch a turn about the garden, pitying the pains of barred affections. Though the king hath charged, you should not speak together.
Dissembling courtesy! A finest tyrant can tickle where she wounds. My dearest husband, I something fear my father's wrath, but nothing. Always reserve my holy duty what his rage can do on me. You must be gone, and I shall hear abide the hourly shot of angry eyes, not comforted to live, but that there's this jewel in the world that I may see again.
My queen, my mistress, O lady, weep no more, lest I give cause to be suspected of more tenderness than doth become a man. I will remain the loyalest husband that did ever play troth. My residence in Rome, at one Philarius, who to my father was a friend known to me but by letter. Thither write, my queen, and with mine eyes I'll drink the words you send, though ink be made of gall.
Be brief, I pray you. If the king come, I shall incur I know not how much of his displeasure. Yet I'll move him to walk this way. I never do him wrong, but he does buy my injuries to be friends. Pays dear for my offenses.
Should we be taking leave as long a term as we have yet to live, the loathness to depart would grow. Adieu.
Nay, stay a little. You were riding forth to air yourself, such parting were too petty. Look here, love, this diamond was my mother's. Take it, heart, but keep it till you woo another wife, when Imogen is dead.
How? Another? You gentle gods, give me but this I have, and sear up my embracements from and hex with bonds of death. Remain thou here. While sense can keep it on, and sweetest, fairest as I my poor self did exchange for you in your so infant loss, so in no trifles I still win of you. For my sake, wear this mantle of love. I'll place it upon this fairest prisoner.
The gods, when shall we see again?
Alack, the king!
Thou basest thing! Avoid sharp than this. Oh, disloyal thing, that shouldst repair my youth, thou heapst a year's age on me.
I beseech you, sir. Harm not yourself with your vexations. I am senseless of your wrath. A touch more rare subdues all pangs, all fears.
Past grace, obedience,
Past hope, and in that way past grace.
that mightst have had the sole son of my queen.
Oh, blessed that I might not. I chose an eagle and did avoid a puttock.
Thou tookst a beggar, wouldst make my throne a seat for baseness.
No, I rather added a luster to it.
Vile one!
Sir, it is your fault that I have loved Posthumus. You grudge him as my playfellow. He is a man worth any woman. Overbuys me almost the sum he pays.
What, art thou mad?
Almost, sir. Heaven restore me. Would I were a Nephthyd's daughter, and my Leonatus our neighbor shepherd's son.
Foolish thing! They were again together. You have done naught after our command. Away with her, and pen her up.
Beseech your patience. Peace, dear lady daughter, peace. Sweet sovereign, leave us to ourselves, and make yourself some comfort out of your best advice.
Nay, let her languish a drop of blood a day, and being aged, die of this folly.
Fie, you must give way. Here's your servant. How now, sir? What is?
My lord, your son, drew on my master.
No harm in Joseph's son?
There might have been, but that my master rather played than fought and had no help of anger.
I'm very glad on't.
They were parted by gentlemen at hand.
Your son's my father's friend. He takes his part to draw upon an exile. Brave sir, why came you from the master?
On his command, he would not suffer me to bring him to the haven. Left these notes of what commands I should be subject to, when it pleased you to employ me.
This hath been your faithful servant long. I dare lay mine honor, he will remain so.
I humbly thank your highness.
Pray, walk a while.
About some half hour hence, pray you speak with me. You shall at least go see my lord aboard. For this time, leave me.
Sir, I would advise you to shift a shirt. The violence of action hath made you reek as a sacrifice. Where air comes out, air comes in. There's not a broad so wholesome as that you bent.
If my shirt were bloody, then to shift it. Have I hurt him?
No, faith, not so much as his patience.
Hurt him? His body's a passable carcass if he be not hurt. 'Tis a thoroughfare for steel if it be not hurt.
His steel was in debt. It went at the backside the town.
The villain would not stand me.
No, but he fled forward still toward your face.
Stand you? You have land enough of your own, but he added to your having, gave you some ground.
As many inches as you have oceans, puppies.
I would they had not come between us.
So would I, who you had measured how long a fool you were upon the ground.
And that she should love this fellow and refuse me?
If it be a sin to make a true election, oh, she is damned.
Sir, as I told you always, her beauty and her brain go not together. She's a good sign, but I've seen small reflection of her wit.
She shines not upon fools, lest the reflection should hurt her.
Come, I'll to my chamber. Oh, would there have been some hurt done?
I would not so, unless it had been the fall of an ass, which is no great hurt.
You'll come with us?
I'll attend your lordship.
Nay, come. Let's go together.
Well, my lord.
My grandma and your grandma were sitting by the fire.
My grandma said to your grandma, I'm gonna set your flag on fire. Talking about hey now,
I feel like one day, like Posthumus, I'm not
seen him in Britain. He was then of a crescent note, expected to prove so worthy as since he hath been allowed the name of. But I could have looked on him with the help of admiration, though the catalogue of his endowments were table beside him, and I to peruse him by items.
You speak of him when he is less furnished than now he is, for that which makes him both without and within.
I have seen him in France. We had very many there could behold the sun with as firm eyes as he.
And the matter of marrying his king's daughter, wherein his worth must be weighed rather by her value than his own, words him, I doubt not, a great deal from the matter.
And then his banishment.
Aye, and the approbation of those that weep this lamentable divorce, under her colors, are wonderfully to extend him, be it but to fortify her judgment, which else an easy battery might lay flat, from not taking a beggar without lesser quality. But how comes it he is to sojourn with you? How creeps acquaintance?
His father and I were soldiers together, to whom I have been often bound for no less than my life. Here comes the Briton. Let him be so entertained amongst you his suits, with gentlemen of your quality, to a stranger of his knowing. I beseech you, be better known to this gentleman, whom I commend to you as a noble friend of mine. How worthy he is, I will leave to appear hereafter, rather than storing him in his own hearing.
Sir, we have known together in Orleans.
Since when I have been debtor to you for courtesies which I will be ever to pay, and yet pay still.
Sir, you overrate my poor kindness. I was glad I did atone my countrymen and you. It had been pity you should have been put together with so mortal a purpose as then each bore, upon importance of so slight and trivial a nature.
By your pardon, sir, I was then a young traveler, rather shunned to go even with what I heard, than my every action to be guided by others' experiences. But upon my mended judgment, if I offend not to say it is mended, my quarrel was not altogether slight.
Faith, yes, to be put to the arbitrament of swords, and by such two that would by all likelihood have confounded one the other, or have fallen both.
Can we with manners ask what was the difference?
Safely, I think. 'Twas a contention in public, which may without contradiction suffer the report. It was much like an argument that fell out last night, where each of us fell in praise of our country mistresses. This gentleman at that time vouching, and upon warrant of bloody affirmation, his to be the most fair, virtuous, wise, chaste, constant, qualified, and less as comfortable than any of the rarest of our ladies in France.
That lady is not now living, or this gentleman's opinion by this worn out.
She holds her virtue still in my mind.
You must not so far prefer her for ours of Italy.
Being so far provoked as I was in France, I would abate her nothing, though I profess myself her adorer, not her friend.
As fair and as good a kind of hand-in-hand comparison had been something too fair and too good for any lady in Britain. If she went before others I have seen, as that diamond of yours that lusters many I have beheld, I could not but believe she excelled many. But I have not seen the most precious diamond that is, nor you, the lady.
I praised her as I rated her, so do I my stone.
What do you esteem it at?
More than the world enjoys.
You may wear her and title yours, but you know, strange fowl light upon neighboring ponds. Your ring may be stolen too, so your brace of unprizable estimations. The one is but frail, the other casual. A cunning thief or a that way accomplished courtier would hazard the winning of both first and last.
Your Italy contains none so accomplished a courier to convince the honor of my mistress, if in the holding her losses that you term her frail. I do nothing doubt you have store of thieves. Notwithstanding, I fear not my ring.
Let us leave here, gentlemen.
Sir, with all my heart. This worthy signor, I think it makes no stranger of me. We are familiar at first.
With 5 times so much conversation, I should get ground of your fair mistress, make her go back, even to the yielding, had I admittance and opportunity to friend.
No.
I make my wager rather against your confidence and her reputation. And to bar your fence here too, I durst attempt it against any lady in the world. I'll lay 10,000 ducats to your reign, that commend me to the court where your lady is, with no greater advantage than the opportunity of a second conference, and I will bring from thence that honor of hers you imagine so reserved.
I shall but lend my diamond to your return. Let there be covenants drawn between us. My mistress exceeds a goodness the hugest of your unworthy thinking. I dare you to this match. Here's my ring.
I will have it no lay.
By the God that is one. If I bring no sufficient testimony that I've enjoyed the dearest bodily parts of your mistress, my 10,000 ducats are yours, so is your diamond too. If I come off and leave her in such honor as you have trusted, she your jewel, this your jewel, and my gold are yours, provided I have your commendation for my more free entertainment.
I embrace these conditions. Let there be articles betwixt us. Only, thus far, you shall answer. If you make your voyage upon her, and give me directly to understand you have prevailed, I am no further your enemy. She is not worth our debate. If she remain unseduced, you not making it appear otherwise, for your ill opinion, and the salt you made to her chastity, you shall answer me with your sword.
Your hand, covenant. We will have these things drawn up by lawful counsel, and straightway to Britain lest the bargain should catch cold and starve. I'll fetch my gold and have our two wages recorded.
Agreed.
Will this hold? Thank
Sing
you.
your talking, I will not from it. Pray let us follow.
Now, Master Doctor, have you brought those drugs?
Please, if your highness, I. Here they are, madam. But I beseech your grace, without offense. My conscience bids me ask, wherefore you have commanded of me these most poisonous compounds, which are the movers of a languishing death, but though slow, deadly.
I wonder, Doctor, thou askest me such a question. Have I not been thy pupil long? Hast thou not learned me to make perfumes, distill, preserve? Yea, so that our great king himself doth woo me off for my confections. Having thus far proceeded, unless thou thinkest me devilish, is it not meet that I did amplify my judgments and other conclusions? I will try the forces of these thy compounds on creatures we count not worth the hanging, but none human, to try the vigor of them and apply layman's to their act, and from them gain their several virtues and effects.
But your highness shall from this practice but make hard your heart. Besides the seeing these effects will be but noisome and infectious.
Oh, content thee. Here comes a flattering rascal. On him will I first work. He is for his master, an enemy to my son. How now, Pisanio? Doctor, your service for this time is ended. Take your own way.
I do suspect you, madam, but you shall do no harm.
Hark thee, a word.
I do not like her. She doth think she has strange, lingering poisons. I do know her spirit, and would not trust one of her malice with a drug of such damned nature. Those she has will stupefy and dull the sense of time, which first, perchance, shall prove on cats and dogs, then later up higher. But there is no danger in what show of death it makes, more than the locking up of spirits a time, to be more fresh, reviving. She is fooled by a most false effect, and I the truer, so to be false with her.
No further service, doctor, until I send for thee.
I humbly take my leave.
Weeps she still, sayest thou? Dost thou think in time she will not quench and let instructions enter where folly now possesses? Do thou work. When thou shalt bring me word she loves my son, I'll tell thee on the instant, thou art then as great as is thy master. Greater, for his fortunes all lie speechless, and his name is at last gasp. Oops. Thou takest up thou knowest not what, but take it for thy labor. It is the thing I made, which hath the king 5 times redeemed from death. I do not know what is more cordial. Nay, I pray thee, take it. It is an earnest of a further good I mean to thee. Tell thy mistress how the case stands with her. Do it as from thyself. Think what a chance thou changest on, but think thou hast thy mistress still. To boot my son, who shall take notice of thee. I'll move the king to any shape of thy preferment, such as thou desire. And myself, I chiefly that set you onto this desert, and bound to load thy merit richly. Call my woman, think on my words.
I shall do. But when to my good lord I prove untrue, I'll choke myself. There's all I'll do for you.
A sly and constant knave, not to be shaked. The agent for his master, and the remembrancer of her to hold the hand fast her lord. I have given him that which, if he take, shall quite unpeople her of liegers to her suite, and which she after, except she bend her humor, shall be assured to taste of two.
Oh, a father cruel, and a stepdame false, and a foolish suitor to a wedded lady that hath her husband banished. That husband, my supreme crown of grief, and the repeated vexations of it. Had I been thief stolen as my two brothers, happy. But most miserable is the desire that's glorious. Blessed be those, how mean soever, that have their honest wills which seasons comfort. Who can this be? Fie!
Madam, a noble gentleman of Rome comes from my lord with letters.
Change you, madam. The worthy Leonatus is in safety and greets your highness dearly.
Thanks, good sir, you're kindly welcome.
All of her that is out of door most rich. If she be furnished with a mind so rare, she is alone the Arabian burden. I have lost the wager. Boldness, be my friend. Arm me audacity from head to foot. Or, like the Parthian, I shall fly and fight, rather directly fly.
He is one of the noblest note to whose kindnesses I am most infinitely tied. Reflect upon him accordingly, as you value your truest. Leonatus. So far I have read aloud, but the very middle of my heart is warmed by the rest, and takes it thankfully. You are as welcome, worthy sir, as I have words to bid you, and shall find it so in all that I can do.
Thanks, fairest lady. What? Are men mad? Hath nature given them eyes to see this vaulted arch, the rich crop of sea and land, which can distinguish twixt the fire orbs above and the twin stones upon the numbered beach? And can we not partition make with spectacles so precious twixt fair and foul?
What, dear sir, thus raps you? Are you well?
Thanks, madam, well. Beseech you, sir, desire my man's abode or I do leave him. He is strange and peevish.
I was going, sir, to give him welcome.
Continues well, my lord, his health, beseech you.
Well, madam.
Is he disposed to mirth? I hope he is.
Exceeding pleasant. None a stranger there so merry and so gamesome. He is called the Britain reveler.
When he was here, he did incline to sadness, and oft times not knowing why.
I never saw him sad. There was a Frenchman, his companion, one an eminent monsieur that it seemed much loved a gallant girl at home. He furnished the thick sides from him, while the jolly Briton, your lord I mean, laughs from free lungs, cries, "How can my sides hold?" To think that man, who knows by history, report, or his own proof what woman is, yet which he cannot choose but must be, most free hours languish for assured bondage.
Will my lord say so?
Aye, with his eyes have fled with laughter. 'Tis a recreation to me by and hear him mock the Frenchman. But, heavens know, some men are much to blame.
Not he, I hope.
Not he, but yet heaven's bounty towards him might be used more thankfully. In himself 'tis much, in you, which I account his beyond all talents, whilst I am bound to wonder, I am bound to pity too.
I pray you, sir, deliver with more openness your answers to my demands. Why do you pity me?
That others do, I was going to say, enjoy your, but it is an office of the gods to vent it, not mine to speak on it.
You do seem to know something of me, or what concerns me. I pray you, since doubting things goes ill, often hurts more than to be sure they do. For remedies either are timely knowing the remedies then born, or the remedies then done. Discover to me what both you spur and stop.
Had I this cheek to bathe my lips upon, this hand whose every touch would force the feeler soul to the oath of loyalty, this object, which imprisons the wild motion of mine eye, fixing it only here, should I damn it then, slaver with lips as calm as the stairs that mount the Capitol?
My lord, I fear, hath forgot Britain.
And himself, not I inclined to this intelligence pronounce the beggary of his change. 'Tis your graces that from my mutest conscience to my tongue do charm this report out.
Let me hear no more.
Oh, dearest soul, your cause does strike my heart with pity that doth make me sick. A lady so fair and fastened to an empery would make the greatest king double. To be partnered with tomboys, hired that self-exhibition which your own coffers yield, with disease ventures display with all infirmity, for gold that rottenness can lend nature? Such boiled stuff is my well-poisoned poison. Be revenged, or she that bore you was no queen, and you recoil from your great star.
Revenged? How should I be revenged? If this be true, as I have such a heart that both mine ears must not in haste abuse, if this be true, how should I be revenged?
Should he make me live like Diana's priest twixt cold sheets, while he is vaulting variable ramps in your despite upon your purse? Revenge it. I dedicate myself to your sweet pleasure, more noble than that runagate to your bed, and will continue fast to your affections, still as close as
And do condemn my ears that have so long attended thee. If thou wert honorable, that wouldst have told thy tale for virtue, not for such an as thou seekest, as base, as strange. Thou wrongst a gentleman who is as far from thy report as thou from honor, and here solicits a lady that disdains both thee and the devil alike. What how, Pisanio? The king, my father, shall be made acquainted with your assault, if he shall see a fit a saucy stranger in his court to mart his Romish stoop, and to expound his beastly mind to us. Then he is a court he cares little for, and a daughter he respects not at all. What how, Pisanio?
Oh, happy Leonatus! May I say, the credit thy lady hath of thee deserves thy trust, and thy most perfect goodness her assured credit. Blessed live you long, lady to the worthiest sir that ever country called you his, and you, his mistress, only for the most worthiest fit. Give me your pardon. I have spoke this to know if your affiance were deeply rooted, and will make your lord that which he is new o'er. And he is one the truest mannered, such a holy witch that enchants societies into him. Half all men's hearts are his.
You make amends.
He sits mongst men like a descended god. Yet a kind of honor sets him off more than a mortal seeming. Be not angry, most mighty princess, that I have adventured try your taking him a false report, which is honored with confirmation your great judgment in the election of a sir so rare, you know he cannot err. The love I bear him made me to fan you thus. Pray your pardon.
All's well, sir. Take my power in the court for yours.
My humble thanks. I had almost forgot to entreat your grace by this small request, yet a moment too, for it concerns your lord. Myself and some other noble partners are friends in the business.
Pray, what is it?
Some dozen Romans of us and your lord, the best feather of our wing, have mingled sums to buy a present for the emperor, which I, the factor for the rest, have done in France. 'Tis plate of rare device and jewels of rich and exquisite form, their value's great. And I am something curious, being strange, to have them in safe stowage. May it please you take them in protection.
Willingly, and pawn mine honor for their safety. Since my lord hath interest in them, I'll keep them in my bedchamber.
They are in a trunk attended by my men. I will make bold to send them to you, but only for this night. I must aboard tomorrow.
But not away tomorrow.
Oh, madam, I must, and therefore I beseech you, if it please you greet your lord with writing, do it tonight. I have outstood my time, which is material to the tender of our present.
I will write, and send your trunk to me. It shall safe be kept, and truly yielded you. You are most welcome.
Oh, was there ever a man had such luck? Like kiss the jack upon the upcast, only to be hit away. I'd 100 pound on it! And the whore's son, jackanapes, must take me up for swearing? Huh, as if I'd borrowed my notes from him and might not spend them at my pleasure.
What got he by that? You have broke his pate with your bowl.
And if his wit had been like him that broke it, it would have run all out.
When a gentleman is disposed to swear, it is not for any standers-by to curtail his oaths, huh?
No, my lord, nor crop the ears of them.
Horse son, duh! I give him satisfaction? Ha! Were he one of my rank.
To have smelled like a fool.
I am not vexed more by anything on the earth. A pox on it. I'd rather not be so noble as I am. They dare not fight me because of the queen, my mother. Every jack-slave got his belly full of fighting, and I must go up and down like a cock, and nobody can match.
You are cock and cape on too, and you crow cock with your comb on.
Sayest thou?
It is not fit your lordship should undertake every companion you give offense to.
No, I know that. But it is fit I should commit offense to my inferiors.
It is fit for your lordship only.
Why, so I say.
Did you hear of a stranger that's come to court tonight?
A stranger, and I know not of it?
He's a strange fellow himself, and knows it not.
There's an Italian come, and 'tis thought one of Leonatus' friends.
Leonatus, banished rascal. He's another whatsoever he be. Who told you of this stranger?
One of your lordship's pages.
Is it fit I went look upon him? Is there no derogation in it?
You cannot derogate, my lord.
Not easily, I think.
You are a fool, granted. Therefore, your issues, being foolish, do not derogate.
Come, I'll see this Italian. What I've lost today of bulls, I'll win tonight of him. Come. Go.
I'll attend your lordship. That such a crafty devil as his mother should yield the world this ass. A woman that bears all down with her brain, and this, her son, cannot take 2 from 20 for his heart and leave 18. Alas, poor princess, thou divine Imogen, what thou endurst. Betwixt a father by thy stepdame governed, a mother hourly coining plots, a wooer more hateful than the foul expulsion is of thy dear husband, than the horrid act of the divorce he'd make. The heavens hold firm the walls of thy dear honor. Keep unshaked that temple, thy fair mind, that thou mayst stand to enjoy thy banished lord and this great land.
Who's there? My woman Helen? Please you, madam. What hour is it? Almost midnight, madam. I have read 3 hours then. My eyes are weak. To bed. Fold down the leaf where I had left. From fairies and tempters of the night, protect me, God. Beseech you.
The crickets sing, and man's o'er-labored sense repairs itself by rest. Heart harking thus, it softly press the rushes ere you wake from the chastised and wounded. Cytherea, how bravely thou becomest thy bed, fresh Lilian, white in the sheets, that I might touch, but kiss, one kiss. Rubies unparagoned, how dearly they do it. 'Tis her breathing that perfumes the chamber thus. The flame of the taper bows toward her, but underpeep her lids to see the enclosed lights, now canopied under these windows, white and azure laced with blue of heaven's own tinct. But my design, to note the chamber, I'll write all down. Such and such pictures, there the window, such the adornment of her bed, the heiress figures why such and such, and the content of the story. But some natural notes about her body, above 10,000 meaner movables, would testify to enrich mine inventory. O sleep, thou ape of death, lay dull upon her, and be her sense but as a monument thus in a chapel lying. Come off, come off. As slippery as the Gordian knot was hard, 'tis mine. And this will witness outwardly as strongly as the conscience does within to the matting of her lord. On her left breast, a mole, sink-spotted like the crimson drops in the bottom of the cowslip. Here's a voucher stronger than ever law could make. This secret will force him think I have picked the lock and taken the treasure of her honor. No more, to what end? Why should I write down that's riveted, screwed to my memory? She hath been reading late, the tale of Tereus, the leaves turned down where Philomel gave up. And I have enough. To the trunk again and shut the spring of it. Swift, swift you drag into the night, that dawning may bear the raven's eye. My lodge is fear, though this a heavenly angel, hell is here. 1, 2, 3, time, time.
Your lordship is the most patient man in loss, the most coldest that ever turned up ace.
Winning would make any man cold.
But not every man patient after the noble temper of your lordship. You are most hot and furious when you win.
Winning will put any man into courage. If I could just get this foolish Imogen, I should have gold enough. It's almost morning, is it not?
Day, my lord.
I would this music would come. I'm advised to give her music some morning. They say it will penetrate. Come on, tune! If you can penetrate her with your finger, so will try with tongue too. And if none of you let her remain, but I will never give over. First, a very excellent, good conceited thing, after a wonderful sweet air with rich admirable words to it, and then let her consider. Get you gone! If this should penetrate, I'll think your music the better. If it do not, there's a vice in her ears, not which horse hairs or calf's guts, nor the voice of an unpaid eunuch to boot could never amend.
Here comes the king.
I am glad I was up so late, for that is why I was up so early. He cannot choose but to take this service I have done fatherly. Good morrow to your majesty and to my gracious mother.
Attend you here the door of our stern daughter. Will she not forth?
I have assailed her with musics, but she vouchsafes no notice.
The exile of her minion is too new. Some more time must wear the print of his remembrance out. Then she's yours.
You are most bound to the king, who lets go by no vantage that may prefer you to his daughter. Frame yourself after orderly solicits, and befriended with Optimus of the season. Make denials increase your services, so seeming that you were inspired to do those duties you tender to her, that you in all obey her, save when to your dismission tends, and therein you're senseless.
Senseless? Not so.
So like you, sir, ambassadors from Rome. The one is Caius Lucius.
A worthy fellow, albeit he comes on angry purpose now, but that's no fault of his. We must receive him according to the honor of the sender. Our dear son, when you have given good warning to your mistress, attend the queen and us. We shall have need to employ you towards this Roman. Come, our queen.
If she be awake, I'll speak with her. If not, let her lie still and dream. By your leave, ho! Good morrow,
If you but said so, 'twere as deep with me. If you swear still, your recompense is such that I regard it not.
This is no answer.
But that you would not say I yield being silent, I would not speak. I pray you spare me. Faith, I shall unfold equal discourtesy to your best kindness. One of your great knowing should learn, being taught forbearance.
To leave you in your madness, 'twere my sin. I will not.
Fools are not mad folks.
Do you call me fool?
As I am mad, I do. If you'll be patient, I'll no more be mad. That cures us both. I'm much sorry, sir. You put me to forget a lady's manners by being so verbal. But learn now, for all, that I, which know my heart, do here pronounce, by the very truth of it, I care not for you. And am so near the lack of charity as to accuse myself, I hate you, which I'd rather felt than you make it my boast.
You sin against obedience, to which you owe your father. For that contract you pretend with that base wretch, one bred of alms and fostered of cold dishes, scraps of the court. That is no contract, no! Yet you're curbed from this enlargement by the consequence of the crown, and you must not soil its precious note with this base slave.
Profane fellow! Wert thou the son of Jupiter, and no more than what thou art besides, thou wert too base to be his groom.
Southfog rot him!
His meanest garment that hath but clipped his body is dearer in my respect than all the hairs above ye, were they all made such men. How now, Pisanio?
His meanest garment, not a devil!
To Norway my woman hide me presently.
His meanest garment.
I have sprited with a fool, frighted, angered worse. Go, bid my woman search for a jewel that she casually hath left mine arm. Was thy master's. Shrew me if I would lose it for a revenue of any kings in Europe. I think I saw it this morning. Confident I am 'twas on mine arm last night. I kissed it. I hope it be not gone to tell my lord I kiss aught but he.
'Twill not be lost.
I hope so. Go and search.
His meanest garment, I am abused.
I said so, sir. If thou wilt make it an action, call witness to it.
I will inform your father.
Your mother, too. She's my good lady and will conceive, I hope, the worst of me. So I leave you, sir, to the worst of discontent.
I'll be revenged. His meanest garment. Well.
I do believe that this will prove a war, and you shall hear the legion out in Gallia sooner landed in our not-fearing Britain than have tidings of any petty tribute paid. Our countrymen or men will order them, and Julius Caesar smiled at their lack of skill.
I see, Iachimo, welcome, sir.
I hope the briefness of your answer made the speediness of your return.
Your lady is one of the fairest I have looked upon.
And therewithal the best, or let her beauty look through a casement to allure false hearts and be false with them.
Here are letters for you.
Their tenor good, I trust.
'Tis very like.
Was Caius Lucius in the written court when you were there?
He was expected then, but not approached.
All is well yet. Sparkles the stone as it was wont, or is it not too dull for your good wearing?
If I had lost it, I should have lost the worth of it in gold. I'll make a journey twice as far to enjoy a second night of such sweet shortness which was mine in Britain, for the ring is won.
The stone's too hard to come by.
Not a whit, your lady being so easy.
Not sir your loss or sport. I hope you know we must not continue friends.
Good sir, we must if you keep covenant. Had I not brought the knowledge of your mistress home, I grant we were to question further. But I now profess myself the winner of her honor, together with your ring.
If you can make it apparent you have tasted her in bed, my hand and ring is yours. If not, the foul opinion you had of her pure honor gains or loses, your sword or mine.
Sir, my circumstances being so near the truth as I shall make them, must first induce you to believe.
Proceed.
First, her bedchamber, where I confess I slept not, but had that was well worth watching. It was hanged with tapestry of silk and silver. The story, proud Cleopatra when she met her Roman. A piece of work so bravely done, so rich it did strive in workmanship and value, which I could but wonder was so rarely and exactly wrought, since the true light.
This is true, and this you might have heard of here, by me or by some other.
The chimney is south the chamber, The chimney piece chased Diane bathing. Never saw a figure so likely to report themselves.
This is a thing which you might from relation likewise reap, being as it is much spoke of.
The roof of the chamber with golden cherubims is fretted. Her andirons, I had forgot them, were two winking cupids of silver, each on 1 foot standing.
This is her honor. Let it be granted you have seen all this, and praise be given to your remembrance. The description of what is in her chamber nothing saves the wager you have laid.
Then, if you can, be pale. I beg but leave to air this jewel, and now 'tis up again must be married to that your diamond, I'll keep them both.
Joe, once more let me behold it. Is it that which I left with her?
Sir, I thank her that she slipped it from her arm. I see her yet, her pretty action did not sell her gift, and yet enriched it too. She gave it me and said she prized it once.
Maybe she plucked it up to send it me.
She writes so to you, doth she?
No, 'tis true! Here, take this too. It is a basilisk unto mine eye. Kills me to look on it. Let there be no honor where there is beauty, truth where semblance, love where there's another man. The vows of women have no more bondage be to where they are made than they are to their virtues, which is nothing. Oh, above measure false.
Patience, sir, and take your ring again. It is not yet won. It may be probable that she lost it, or perhaps one of her women being corrupted has stolen it from her.
Very true, and so I hope he came by it. Back my ring. Render me some corporal sign about her more evident than this, for this was stolen.
By Jupiter, I had it from her arm.
Hark you, he swears. By Jupiter, he swears. 'Tis true. Keep the ring, 'tis true. I'm sure she would not lose it. Her attendants are all sworn and honorable. They induce to steal it and by a stranger? No. He hath enjoyed her. The cognizance of her incumbency is this. She hath bought the name of whore thus dearly. There, take thy hire, and all the fiends are held to divide themselves between you.
It is not strong enough to be believed, sir.
But talk on it. She hath been colted by him.
If you seek for further satisfying, under her breast, worthy of pressing, lies a mole, right proud with that most delicate lodging. By my life, I kissed it, and it did give me present hunger, though full defeat again. You do remember that stain upon her.
Aye, and it doth confirm another stain, as big as Helgador, but no more but it.
Will you hear more?
Spare your arithmetic, never count the turns. Once and a million.
Well, I'll be sworn.
No swearing. If you will swear you have not done it, you lie. And I will kill thee if thou dost not. Thou hast made me cuckold.
I'll deny nothing.
That I had her here, to tear her limb meal. I will go there to it, in the court before her father. I'll do something.
You have won it. Pray let us follow him and pervert the present wrath he hath against himself.
With all my heart.
Is there no way for men to be, but women must be half-workers? We are all bastards, and that most venerable man that I did call my father was I know not where when I was stamped. Some coiner with his tools made me a counterfeit, yet my mother seemed the Diane of that time, so doth my wife the nonpareil of this. Oh, vengeance, vengeance! Me, of my lawful pleasure, she restrained, and prayed me not forbearance. With a prudency so rosy, the sweet Violet I will have warmed old Saturn, that I thought her as chaste as unsunned snow. Oh, all the devils! This yellow Iachimo, in an hour, was it not? Or less, at first, perchance, he spoke not, but like a full acorn boar, a German one cried, "Oh!" and mounted, found no opposition, but what he looked for should oppose, and she should from him counter guard. Can I find out the woman's part in me? For there's no motion that tends to vice in man, but I affirm it is the woman's part. Be it mine, note it, the woman's. Flattery, hers. Deceiving, hers. Lust and rank thoughts, hers. Repentance, hers. Ambitions, covetings, changes of pride, disdain, nice longings, slanders, mutability, all faults that name, nay, that hell knows, why, hers, in part or all, but rather all. For even the vice, they are not constant, but are changing still. One vice, but of a minute old for one, not half so old as that. I'll write against them, detest them, curse them. Yet, 'tis greater skill in a true hate to pray they have their will. The very devils cannot plague them better.
Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes, was in this Britain and conquered it. Thine uncle granted Rome a tribute, yearly 3,000 pounds, which by thee is lately left untendered.
And to kill the marvel shall be so ever.
There'll be many Caesars, ere another Julius. Britain is a world of its own, and we will nothing pay to wear our own noses.
My sir, the kings, your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of this isle, which stands as Neptune's park, ribbed and paled in, with rocks unscalable and roaring waters, with sands that will not stand your enemies' boats, but suck them up to the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, but made not here his brag of came and saw and overcame. With shame, the first to have touched him, he was carried from off our coast, twice beaten.
Come now, there's no more tribute to be paid. There are no more such Caesars, and our kingdom is stronger now than it was then. Other Caesars may have such crooked noses, but oh, such straight arms, none.
Son, let your mother end.
Why tribute? Why should we pay tribute? If Caesar can hide the sun from us with a blanket or put the moon in his pocket, then we shall pay for light. Else, sir, no more tribute. Pray you now.
Freedom! You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swelled so much that it did almost stretch the sides of the world, against all color here, did put the yoke upon us, which to shake off becomes a warlike people, whom we reckon ourselves to be.
We do!
I am sorry, Cymbeline, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar. Caesar who hath more kings, his servants, than thyself, domestic officers, thine enemy. Receive it from me then. War and confusion I pronounce against thee in Caesar's name. Look for fury not to be resisted. Thus defied, I thank thee for myself.
Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me. In my youth I spent much under him. Of him I gathered honor, which he to seek of me again behoves me keep at utterance.
His Majesty bids you welcome. Make pastime with us for a day or two, or longer. If you shall seek us afterwards, or on different terms, you will find us here in our saltwater girdle. Beat us out of it, it is yours. But if you shall fall in the adventure, then our crows shall fare the better for you. And there is an end.
So, sir.
I know your master's pleasure and mine. All that remains is welcome.
Infection has fallen into thy ear. What false Italian, as poisonous-tongued as handed, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? 'Tis loyal? No, she's punished for her honesty and endures more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. O master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes.
never do good service. Let me never be counted serviceable. How look I that I should seem to lack the humanity as much as this fact comes to? Do it. The letter I have sent her, by her own command, shall give the opportunity. Oh, damned message! Black as the ink that's on thee. Art thou a fidery for this act that lies so virgin-like without? Here she comes. I am ignorant in what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam. Here's a message from my lord.
Who? Thy lord? That is my lord, Leonatus. You good gods, let what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable, and that is one, for it doth physic love. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you. Oh, the dearest of creatures would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria, at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow, and you're increasing in love. Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings! Hearest thou, Pisanio? He's at Milford Haven. Read, and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of mean affairs may plot in a week, why may I not glide thither in a day? Then, true Pisanio, who longst like me to see thy lord, who longst, let me bait, but not like me, yet longst, but in a fainter kind. Not like me, for mine's beyond. Say, and speak thick. Love's counselor should fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the sense how far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first, how may we steal from hence? And for the gap of time that we shall make from our hence going to our return, to excuse. But first, how get hence? We'll talk of that hereafter. Prithee, speak. How many score of miles may we well ride twixt hour and hour?
Madam, 1 score twixt sun and sun is enough for you, and too much, too.
Why, one who rode to his execution, man, could not go so slow. Go, bid my woman feign a sickness, say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit, no costlier than befitted Franklin's housewife.
Madam, your best consider.
Away, I prithee, do as I bid thee. There's no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way.
A goodly day not to keep house with such whose roof's as low as ours. Stoop, boys. This gate instructs you how to door the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy hours. Hail, thou fair heaven. We house in the rock, and use thee not so hardly as prouder livers do.
Hail heaven, hail heaven.
Now for our mountain sport. Up to yon hill. Your legs are young, I'll tread these flats. Consider when you above perceive me as a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off. And you may then revolve what tales I have told you, of courts, of princes, of the tricks in war. This service is not service, so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us a profit from all things we see. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a robe, prouder than rustling an unpaid-for silk. Such gain the cap of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed. No life to ours.
Out of your proof you speak. We, born-fledged, have never winged from view of the nest, nor know not what errs from home. Haply this life is best, if quiet life be best. Sweeter to you to have a sharper known, while corresponding with your stiff age. But to us, it is a style of ignorance, traveling a bed, a prison, or a debtor that dares not to stride a limit.
What shall we speak of when we are old as you? When shall we hear the rain or wind be dark December? How in this, our pinching cave, shall we discourse the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtlest of thoughts for prey, like warlike as the wolf for what we eat. Our valors to chase what flies. Our cage we make a choir, as stop the prison bird, and sing our bondage freely.
How you speak. Did you but know the city's usual marked with Roman swords, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me, and when a soldier was the theme, my name is not far off. Then was I a tree whose boughs did bend with fruit. But in one night, a storm or robbery, call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and left me bare to weather.
Uncertain favor.
My fault being nothing, as I have told you all, but that two villains, whose false oaths prevailed before my perfect honor, swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment, and this rock and these demesnes have been my world, where I've lived at honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the forend of my time. But up to the mountains. This is not Hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be the lord of the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison which attends in place of greater state. I'll meet you in the valleys. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature. These boys know little they are the sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly, in the cave wherein they bow, their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Polydor, the heir of Cymbeline, and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius, the younger brother Codwall, once Arviragus, and his like a figure strikes life into my speech and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is roused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession as thou reftest me of my lands. Euryphile, thou wast their nurse. They took thee for their mother, and every day do honor to her grave. Myself, Belarius, that am Morgan called, they take for natural father. The game is up.
Thou toldst me when we came from horse the place was near at hand. Now long my mother so see me first as I have now. Pisanio, man, where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from the inward of thee? What's the matter? Why tenderest thou that message toward me with a look untender? My husband's hand? That drugged yank Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man. Thy tongue may take off some extremity which even to read would be mortal to me.
Please you, read, and you shall find me a wretched thing, the most disdained of fortune.
Thy mistress, Pisanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed, the testimonies whereof lies bleeding in me. I speak not out of weak surmises, but from a proof as certain as strong as I expect my revenge. That part thou, Pisanio, must act for me, if thy faith be not tainted with the breach of hers. Let thine own hands take away her life? I shall give thee opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose. Where, if thou fear to strike, and to make me certain that is done, thou art the pander to her dishonor, and equally to me disloyal.
What need have I to draw my sword? The message hath cut her throat already. 'Tis slander, whose edge is sharper than the sword, whose tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile, who posts on the post winds and belies every corner of the world. Kings, queens, states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave this viper's slander enters. What cheer, madam?
False to his bed? What is it to be false? To lie and watch there, and to think on him? To weep twixt clock and clock? If sleep charge nature to break it with a fearful dream of him and cry myself awake, that's false to his bed, is it?
Alas, good lady.
I false? Thy conscious witness, Iachimo. Thou didst accuse him of incontinency. Thou then lookest like a villain. Now methinks thy favor's good enough. Some jay of Italy, whose mother was her painting, hath betrayed him. Ugh, men's vows are women's traitors. All good seeming, by thy revolt, O husband, shall be but worn a bait for ladies.
Good madam, hear me.
do thy master's bidding. And when thou seest him, a little witness my obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself. Take it, and strike the innocent mansion of my love, my heart. Fear not, 'tis empty of all things but grief. Thy master is not there, who was indeed the riches of it. Do his bidding, strike. Thou mayst be valiant in a better cause, now thou seemest a coward.
Hence, vile mystery, thou shalt not damn thy hand.
Why? I must die, and if not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. Against self-slaughter, there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Where is thy knife? The lamb entreats the butcher. Thou art too slow to do thy master's bidding when I desire it too.
Good lady, since I received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink.
Do it, and to bed then.
I'll wake mine eyeballs out first.
Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretense? Mine action and thine own, our horses' labor, the time inviting me, the perturbed court at my being absent.
But to win time, to lose so bad employment, in the which I have considered of a course. Good lady, hear me with patience.
Talk thy tongue weary, speak. I have heard I am strumpet, and my ear therein fall struck can take no greater wound, nor tent to bottom that, but speak.
Well, I thought you would not back again.
Really, most like bringing me here to kill me.
Not so neither. If I were as wise as honest, then my purpose would prove well. It cannot be but that my master is abused. Some villain, I and singular in his art, hath done you both this cursed injury.
Aye, some Roman courtesan.
No. On my life, I'll send but notice you are dead. Give him some bloody sign of it, for 'tis commanded I should do so. You will be missed at court, and that will well confirm it.
Why, good fellow, what shall I do the while? Where bide? How live? What comfort in my life when I'm dead to my husband?
If not at court, then not in Britain must you bide. The ambassador, Lucius the Roman, comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you could wear a mind as dark as your fortune is, and disguise that which, to be seen, must not yet be but by present danger, you should tread a course pretty and full of view, yea, haply, near the residence of Posthumus, so near at least that, though his actions not be visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear, as true as he moves.
For such a means, though peril to my honesty, not death on it, I would adventure.
Well then, here's the point. You must forget to be a woman.
Huh?
Change obedience. Change command into obedience. Fear and niceness, the handmaids of all women. Nay, woman it pretty self, into a waggish courage.
Nay, be brief. I see into thy end already, and am almost a man already.
First make yourself but like one. For thinking this, I have already fit. 'Tis in my cloak bag. Hat, doublet, hose, and all that answer to them. Would you, in their serving, and with what imitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, for noble Lucius, present yourself, desire his service. Doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he's honorable, and doubling that, most holy. Well, we must take a short farewell, lest, being missed, I be accused of your carriage from the court. My noble mistress, here is a box. I had it from the queen. What's in it is precious. If you be sick at sea or stomach qualmed at land, a dram of this will drive away distemper. Now, to some shade, and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best.
Amen. I thank thee.
Thus far, and so farewell.
Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote that I must repent, and am right sorry that I must report ye my master's enemy.
Our subjects, sir, will not endure this yoke, and for ourselves to show less sovereignty than they, must needs appear unkinglike.
So, sir, I desire conduct overland to Milford Haven. Madam, all joy befall your grace.
And you.
My lords, you are appointed for that office, the due of honor in no point omit. So, farewell, noble Lucius.
Your hand, my lord.
Receive it friendly, but from this time forth I shall wear it as your enemy.
So, sir, the event has yet to name the winner. Fare you well.
Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till we have crossed the Severn. Happiness.
He goes hence frowning, but it honors us to have given him cause.
'Tis all the better. Your valiant Britons have their wishes in it.
Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how goes it here. It fits us therefore ripely that our chariots and our horsemen be in readiness. The powers he hath already in Gallia will soon be drawn to head, from whence he moves his war for Britain.
'Tis not sleepy business, but must be looked to strongly and speedily.
Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. But, my gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tendered the duty of the day. She looks us like a thing more made of malice than of duty, we have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance.
Royal sir, since the exile of Posthumus, most retired hath her life been, the cure whereof, my lord, 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty, forbear sharp speeches to her. She is a lady so tender of rebukes that words are strokes, and strokes death to her.
Where is she? How can her contempt be answered?
Please you, sir. Her chambers are all locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loudest noise we make.
My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me excuse her keeping close. Whereto, constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you which daily she is bound to proffer. This she wished me to make known, but our great court does make me to blame in memory.
Her door is locked? Not seen of late. Grant heavens, that which I fear prove false.
Son, I say, follow the king.
That man of hers, Pisanio, her old servant, I've not seen these 2 days.
Go, look after. Pisanio, thou that standest so for Posthumus, he hath a drug of mine. I pray his absence proceed by swallowing of that, for he believes it to be a thing most precious. But for her, where is she gone? Happily, despair hath seized her, or, winged with fervor of her love, she hath flown to her desired Posthumus. Gone she is, to death or to despair, and my end can make use of either. She being down, I have the placing of the British crown. Come out, my son.
'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king. He rages, and none dare come about him.
All the better. May this night forestall him of the coming day.
I love and hate her, for she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly part, more exquisite than ladies, women. From each one, the best she hath, and she, of all compounded, outsells them all. I love her therefore. But disdaining me and throwing favors on the low Posthumus slandered so her judgment that what's else rare is choked. And in that point, I will conclude, I hate her. Nay, to be revenged upon her, for when fools shall... What? What? Are you packing so? Come hither. Oh, precious Pander. Villain, where is thy lady? In a word, or thou art straight away with the fiends.
Well, my good lord.
Oh, precious villain, where is she? Or, by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Come here, I will have this secret from thy heart, or I will rid thy heart from me.
My lord, how can she be? When was she missed? He is in Rome.
Where is she, sir? Satisfy me home, no further haltering. What has become of her?
Oh, my all-worthy lord!
All-worthy villain! Discover thy mistresses at once, at next word. No more. Worthy Lord, speak, or thy silence on the instant is thy condemnation and thy death.
Well then, my lord. This message is the history of my knowledge, touching her flight.
Let's see it then. I will pursue her even to Augustus's throne.
Or this, or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travel, not her danger. I'll write to my lord she is dead. Oh, Imogen, safe mayst thou wander, safe return again.
Sirrah, is this letter true?
Sir, as I think.
It is Posthumus' hand, and know it. Sirrah, if thou wouldst not be a villain, but do me true service, undergo the employment wherein thou should have cause to use thee in serious industry. That is, what villainy soever I bid thee do, to perform it directly and truly. I would think thee an honest man. Thou should neither want my means for thy relief, nor my voice for thy preferment.
Well, my lord.
Wilt thou serve me? For since patiently and constantly thou hast served the bare fortunes of that beggar Posthumus, thou canst not, in the course of gratitude, be but a diligent follower of mine. Wilt thou serve me?
I will, my lord.
Give me thy hand. Here is my purse. Hast thou any of thy late master's garments in thy possession?
I have, my lord. The very suit he wore when he took leave of my lady and mistress.
Let it be thy first service thou dost. Fetch me that suit hither. That is thy first service. Go. Meet thee at Milford Haven. I forgot to ask him one thing. I will remember anon. Even there, thou villain Posthumus, will I kill thee. I would these garments would come. She said, upon the time, the very bitterness of which I now belch from my heart, that she held the very garments of Posthumus in more respect than my noble and natural person, together with the adornment of my qualities. With that suit upon my back, I will ravish him. First, kill him in her eyes. There she shall see my valor, and will be torment to her contempt. He on the ground, my speech of insultment ended over his dead body, and when my lust hath died, which, as I say, to vex her, I will execute in the garments she so praised. I will knock her back to the court, foot her home again. She has despised me rejoicingly, and I will be merry in my revenge. Be those the garments?
Aye, my lord.
How long is it since she went to Milford?
She can scarce be there yet.
Bring this apparel to my chamber. That is the second thing I commanded thee. The third is that thou shalt be a voluntary mute to my design. Be but duteous, and true preferment should tender itself to me. My revenge is at Milford. Would I wings to follow it? Come, be true.
Thou bidst me to my loss. For true to thee were to prove false to him that is most true, which I will never be. To Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow, heavenly blessings on her. This fool's speed be crossed with slowness. Labor be his meed. I see a man's life is a tedious one. Ugh, I've tired myself. And some 2 nights together, I've made the ground my bed. I should be sick, but that my resolution helps me. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie that have afflictions on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or a trial? Yes, no wonder when rich ones scarce tell true. To lapse in fullness is sorer than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than in beggars. My lord, thou wert one of the false ones. Well, now I think on thee, my hunger's gone. Yet even before I was at point to sink for food. What's this? There's a path to it. 'Tis some savage hold. I would best not call. No, I dare not call. Yet, famine, our clean and o'erthrows nature, makes it valiant. Ho! Who's there? If anything that's civil, speak. If savage, take or lend. Ho! No answer. Then I'll enter. Oh, best draw my sword. And if mine enemy but fear the sword like me, he'll scarcely look on it. Such a foe, good heavens!
You, Polydor, have proved the best woodsman and our master of the feast. Cogwall and I shall play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match. The sweat of industry would dry and die, but for the end it works too. Come, our stomachs will make what's homely, savory. Weariness can snore upon the flint when resty sloth finds the down pillow hard. Now peace be here, poor house. Right keeps thyself.
Oh, I am thoroughly weary. I am weak with toil, yet strong in appetite. There's cold meat in the cave. We'll browse on that once what we've killed be cooked.
Stay, come not in. If that eats our victuals, I should think you were a fairy.
What's the matter, sir?
By Jupiter, an angel, or if not, an earthly paragon. Behold divineness, no elder than a boy.
Good masters, harm me not. Before I entered here, I have called and thought to have begged or bought what I took. Good troth, I have stolen not, nor would not, though there was gold on the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the board so soon as I had made my meal and parted with prayers for the provider.
Money, youth? Oh, gold and silver rather turn to dirt, as 'tis no better recompense of those who worship dirty gods.
I see you are angry. No, if you kill me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it.
Whither bound?
To Milford Haven.
What's thy name?
Fidele, sir. I have a kinsman who is bound for Italy, who being departed at Milford, to whom being going, almost spent with hunger, and fallen in this offense.
Prithee, fair youth, think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered. 'Tis almost night. You shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay needed. Boys, bid him welcome.
Were you a woman, youth? I should woo hard. Be your groom in honesty? Bid for you as I do by. I'll make it my comfort as a man. And such a welcome as I give for him to you, my brother, such is yours. Most welcome. Be sprightly, for you fall amongst friends.
Amongst friends, if brothers. Would it have been so, these had been my father's sons. And then my prize had been less, and so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus.
He rings at some distress.
We can free it. All right, whatever it be, what danger it caused, what pain. Gods.
Hark, boys.
Great men that had a court bigger than this cave, that did attend themselves with had a virtue which their own conscience sealed them, lying by the nothing gift of differing multitudes, could not help hear these twain. Pardon me, gods, I changed my sex to be companion with them, since Leonatus is false.
It shall be so. Boys will go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in. Discourse is heavy fasting. When we have supped, we'll mannerly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it.
Pray, Dronian. The morn's the lark and the night's the owl, let's welcome. Thanks, sir. I pray. Draw near.
I'm near the place where they should meet, if Pisanio had mapped it truly. How fit his garments serve me! Why should his mistress, who was made by him, that made the tailor, not be fit too? The rather, saving reverence for the word, for 'tis said that a woman's fitness comes by fits. Therein I must play the workman. The lines of my body are as well drawn as his, no less young, more strong, not beneath him in fortunes, beyond him in the advantage of time, above him in birth. And yet, this imperseverant thing loves him in my despite. What mortality is. Posthumus! Thy head, which now grows upon thy shoulders, shall within this hour be off, thy mistress in force, thy garments cut to pieces before thy face, and all this done I shall spurn her home to her father, who may, haply, be a little angry at my so rough usage. But my mother, having power over his testiness, shall turn all into my commendation. My horse is tied up safe, out, sword, and to a sore purpose. This is the very description of their meeting place. Oh, and the fellow dares not deceive me.
You are not well. Remain here in the cave. We'll come to you after hunting.
Brothers, stay here. Nor are we not brothers?
So man and man should be, but clay and clay differs in dignity, whose dust is both alike. I am very sick.
Go you to hunting. I'll abide here with him.
So please you leave me. I am ill, but your being by me cannot mend me.
I love thee. I have spoken. How much the quantity, the weight as I do love my father.
What? How? How?
If be said to say so, sir, I yoke me my good brother's faults. I know not why I love this youth, but I've heard you say loves reason without reason. The bar at the door, demand whose it shall die, I'd say my father, not this youth.
Oh, noble strain! A worthiness of nature, breed of greatness. Cowards father cowards, and base things sire base. Nature hath meal and bran, contempt and grace. I'm not their father, yet who this should be doth miracle itself, love before me. 'Tis the 9th hour of the morn.
Brother, farewell.
I wish ye sport.
You, health. So please you, sir.
These are kind creatures. Gods, what lies I have heard. Our courtiers say all savage, but at the court. Experience, thou disprovest report. I am sick still. Heart sick. Pisanio, I'll now taste of thy drug.
Could not stir him. He said he was unfortunate, but gentle, dishonestly afflicted, but yet honest.
Thus he did answer me, yet said hereafter I might know more.
To the field, to the field. We'll leave you for this time. Go in and rest.
will not be long away.
Pray, be not sick, for you must be our housewife,
Well or ill, I am bound to you.
and shall be ever. This youth, however distressed, appears he hath had good ancestors.
How angel-like he sings.
It is great morning. Come away. Who's there?
I cannot find those renegades. The villain hath mocked me. I think.
Those renegades? Means he not us? I partly know him. 'Tis Cloten, the son of the queen. I fear some ambush. I saw him not these many years, and yet I know 'tis he. We are held as outlaws. Hence.
He is but one man. Pray you and my brother go search what companies are near. Let me alone with him.
Son, what are you that fly me thus? Some villain mountaineers? I have heard of such. What slave art thou?
More slavish should I never than answer a slave without a knock.
Thou art a robber, a lawbreaker, and a villain! Guilty thief!
To who? To thee? What art thou? Have I not an arm as big as thine? A heart as big? Thy words I grant are bigger, for I wear not my dagger in my mouth. Say what thou art, and why I should yield to thee.
Thou villain base, knowest me not by my clothes.
No. No, by thy tailor, rascal, who's thy grandfather. He made those clothes which, as it seemed, make thee.
Thou injurious thief! Know but my name and tremble.
What is thy name?
Cloten, thou villain.
Cloten, thou double villain, be thy name. I cannot tremble at it. Were a toad or snake or axe would move me sooner.
To thy fear, nay, to thy mere confusion, thou shalt know that I am son to the queen.
I'm sorry for it. Not seeming so worthy as thy birth.
Art not afeard?
The wise, those I reverence, those I fear. Fools? I laugh, not fear them.
Die to death! When I have slain you with my proper hand, I will follow those that even now fled hence, and upon the gates of Bloodstone set your head. Yield, rustic mountaineer! Oh, shit.
No companies abroad?
None in the world. You didn't mistake him, sure.
I cannot tell. Long is it since I saw him. But time hath nothing blurred those lines of favor which then he wore. The snatches in his voice and bursts of speaking were as his. I am absolute 'twas very Cloten.
In this place we left him. Oh, my brother may good time with him. You say he is so fell.
Being scarce made up, I mean, to man, he had not apprehension of roaring terrors. For the effect of judgment is oft the cause of fear. But see, thy brother.
Empty purse, there was no money in it. Not Hercules could have knocked out his brains, for he had none. Yet I not doing this, fool would have borne my head as I do his.
What hast thou done?
I'm perfect what? Cut off one Cloten's head, son to the queen after his own report, who called me traitor, mountaineer, and swore with his own hand he'd take our heads, displace them where think the gods they grow, and set them on Ledstown.
We are all undone.
My worthy father, what have we to lose but that which he swore to take, our lives? The law protects not us. Then why should we be tender to let an arrogant piece of flesh threat us, play judge and executioner all in one? For we do fear the law. What company discover you abroad?
No single soul can we set eye on. But in all safe reason, he must have some attendance. Perhaps it may be heard at court that such as we cave here, hunt here, are outlaws, and in time may make some stronger head. The which he, hearing as it is like him, might break out and swear he'd fetch us in.
Let ordinance come as the gods foresay it. Howsoever, my brother hath done well.
With his own hand, which he did wave against my throat, I've taken his head from him. I'll throw it into the creek behind our rock and let it to the sea. Tell the fishes, it's Queen's son, Cloten. That's all I reck.
I fear to be revenged. Would, Polydore, thou hast not done it. Thy valor becomes thee well enough.
Would I had done it, so the revenge alone pursued me. Polydore, I love thee brotherly, but envy much that hast robbed me of this deed.
Well, 'tis done. We'll hunt no more today, nor seek for danger where there's no profit. I prithee, to our rock. You and Fidele play the cooks. I'll stay till hasty Polydor return and bring him to dinner presently.
Poor sick Fidele, I'll willingly to him. To gain his color, I'll let it perish with such Cloten's blood, and praise myself for charity.
Oh, thou goddess, thou divine nature, thou thyself thou blazonest in these two princely boys. 'Tis strange that some invisible instinct should frame them to royalty unlearned, honor untaught, civility not seen from other, valor that wildly grows in them, but yields a crop as if it had been sown. Yet, still, 'tis strange what Cloten's being here to us portends, or what his death will bring us.
Where's my brother? I've sent Cotton's potholes down the stream and then listening to his mother. His body's hostage for his return.
My ingenious instrument, hark Polydor sounds. What occasion hath Cotwall now to give it motion?
Is he at home?
He went hence even now.
But what's the matter? Since death of my dearest mother did not speak before. All solemn things must answer solemn accidents. The matter? Jolly for apes and grief for boys is triumph for nothing and grief for toys. Is Trouble mad?
Here he comes, and brings the dire occasion in his arms of what we blame him for.
The bird is dead, that we have made so much on. I'd rather have skipped from 16 years of age to 60 to have turned my leaping time into a crutch than to have seen this.
Oh, sweetest, fairest Lily, my brother wears thee not one half so well as when thou grewst thyself.
Thou blessed thing, Jove knows what man thou mightst have made, but I, thou diedst, a most rare boy, of melancholy. How found you him?
Stark, as you see, a smiling, as though a fly had tickled slumber, not as Death Stark being laughed at. His right cheek reposing on a cushion.
Where?
On the floor, his arms thus leagued. I thought he slept, and put my cloak of brogues from off my feet, whose rudeness answered my steps too loud.
Why, he but sleeps. If he be dead, he'll make his grave a bed. With female fairies will his tomb be haunted, and worms will not come to thee.
With fairest flowers, while summer lasts and I live here, Fidele, I'll sweeten thy sad grave. Thou shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose. No, nor the azure harbel, like thy veins. No, nor the leaf of eglantine, whose not the slander outsweetened not thy breath. Bring thee all this, yea, and furred moss besides, when flowers are none to winter ground thy corpse.
Prithee, have done, and play not in wench-like words with that which is so serious. Let us bury him, and protract not with admiration that which is now due dead.
Where shalt lay him?
By good Riffley, our mother.
Be it so. And now, Polydor, the rough voices have got the managed crack. Sing him to the ground, like once to our mother. Use like note in words, save that you Riffley must be Fidele.
Great griefs I see, medicine the less, for Cloten is quite forgot. He was a queen's son, boys, and though he came our enemy, remember, he was paid for that. Though mean and mighty rotting together have one dust, yet reverence, that angel of the world, doth make distinction of place between high and low. Our foe was princely, and though you took his life as being our foe, yet bury him as a prince.
If you'll go fetch him, we'll sing our song of waltz. Brother, begin.
No more the heat of the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done. Home art gone and taken thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust.
adventure rash. Thou hast finished joy and moan. All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exercise or harm thee, nor no witchcraft charm thee, no stun laid forbear thee, nothing ill come near thee, quiet consummation have, and renowned be thy grave. Woo!
Come on, away. Apart upon our knees. The ground that gave them first has them again. Their pleasures here are past. So is their pain.
Yes, sir. To Milford Haven. Pray, which is the way? By yond bush? I thank you. How far thither? Odds Pinnekins, can it be 6 mile yet? I have gone all night. Faith, I'll lie down and sleep. Come soft, no bedfellows. These flowers are like the pleasures on the world. This bloody man, the care on it. I hope I dream, or so I thought I was cook and cavekeeper to honest creatures, but 'tis not so. 'Twas but a bolt of nothing, shot at nothing, which the brain makes of fumes. Our very eyes are sometimes like our judgments blind. Good faith, I tremble still with fear, but if there be yet left in heaven as small a drop of pity as a wren's eye, fear God's a part of it. The dream's still here. Even as I wake, it is without me as within me, not imagined, felt. A headless man? Garments of Posthumus. This is the shape of his leg. This is his hand. His slender curl, his martial thigh, the bronze of Hercules, but his jovial face. Murder in heaven, how? 'Tis gone. Pisanio. 'Tis he and Cloten have struck my lord. To read and write be henceforth treacherous. Damned Pisanio hath with his forged letters, damned Pisanio, from this most bravest vessel of the world struck the maintop. Posthumus, where is thy hand? I mean, where is that? Where is that? How should this be? Pisanio might have killed me at the heart and left this head on. Pisanio, he and Cloten, with malice and lucre in them, have laid this woe here. 'Tis pregnant, pregnant. The drug he gave me, which he said was precious and cordial to me, have I not found it murderous to the senses? That confirms it home. This is Pisanio's deed and Cloten. Give color to my pale cheek with thy blood, that we the hoarder may seem to those which chance to find us. My lord, my lord.
The Senate hath stirred up the confiners and gentlemen of Italy, most noble spirits that promise worthy service, and they come under the conduct of bold Iachimo, Sienna's brother,
What expect you then?
with the next benefit of the wind.
This forwardness makes our hopes fair. Command our present numbers be mustered. Bid the captains to it. Now, sir, what have you dreamed of late of this war's fortune?
Last night, the very gods showed me a vision. I fasted and prayed for their intelligence. Thus, I saw Jove's bird, the Roman eagle. to this part of the West, which foreshowed, unless my sins abuse my divination, success to the Roman host.
Dream often so, and never falls. Soft? Oh? What trunk is here without its top? This ruin speaks that sometime it was a worthy building. How? A page? Our sleeping are dead? But dead rather, for nature doth hath bore to make his bed with the defunct or sleep upon the dead. Let's see his face.
He's alive, my lord.
He'll then instruct us of the body. Young one, inform us of thy fortunes, for it seems they crave to be demanded. Who is this thou makest thy bloody pillow? Or who is he that otherwise a noble nature did hath altered that good picture?
I am nothing, or if not, nothing to be were better. This was my master, a very valiant Briton, and a good, that here by mountaineers lies slain. Alas, there is no more such masters. I could wander from east to Occident, cry out for service, try many, serve truly, all good. Never find such another master.
Alack, good youth, that moves no less in thy complaining than thy master in bleeding. Say his name, good friend?
Richard Duchamp. If I do lie, and do no harm by it, though the gods hear, I pray they'll pardon me. Say you, sir?
Thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Thou dost become thyself the very same. Thy name will fit thy faith thy name. Wilt take thy chance with me? I will not say thou wilt be so well mastered, but be sure no less beloved.
I'll follow, sir, but first, and it so please the gods, I'll hide my lord from the flies, so deep as these poor pickaxes can dig. And when with wild wood leaves and weeds I've strewed his grave, and said on it a century of prayers, twice o'er, such as I can, I'll weep and sigh, and thus leaving his service, I'll follow you. So please you entertain me.
Aye, good youth, and rather fatherly than masterly. My friends, the boy has taught us manly duties. Let us find out the prettiest daisy plot we can, and make him with our pikes and partisans a grave. Come, arm him. Boy, he's preferred by thee to us, and he shall be interred as a soldier can. Come, wipe thine eyes. Some means or falls the happier to arise.
Me. Imogen, the great part of my comfort gone, my queen on a desperate bed, and in a time when fearful wars pointed me, her son gone, so needful for this present, it strikes me past the hope of comfort. But for thee, fellow, you must needs know of her departure, and dost seem so ignorant, will enforce it from me by a sharp torture.
My lord, my life is yours. I humbly set it at your will. But for my mistress, I nothing know where she remains. Why God nor when she purposes return. Beseech your highness, hold me your loyal servant.
Good, my liege. The day that she was missing, he was here. I dare be bound he's true and shall perform all parts of his subjection loyally. For Cloten, there wants no diligence in seeking him, and will no doubt be found.
Time is troublesome. We'll slip you foresees it, but our jealousy does yet depend.
So please your majesty, the Roman legions, all from Gallia drawn, are landed on your coast. A supply of Roman gentlemen by the Senate sent.
Now for the counsel of my son and queen. I'm amazed at the matter.
'Tis strange. I've heard no letter from my master since I wrote him Imogen was slain. Nor hear I from my mistress, who did promise to yield me often tidings. Neither do I know what is betid of Cloten, but remain perplexed in all. Oh, the heavens must still work. Wherein I am false, I am honest, not true to be true. These present wars shall find I love my country, even to the note of the king, or I'll fall in them. All other doubts by time let them be cleared. Fortune brings in some boats that are not steered.
The noise is round about us.
Let us from it.
What pleasure, sir, we find in life to longing from action and adventure.
Nay, what up we in hiding us? This way the Romans must, or Britons take us, or slay us for barbarous and natural revolts during their use and slay us after.
Sons will hire to the mountains, there secure us. To the king's party there is no go.
Sir, this isn't such a time. I doubt nothing becoming you, nor satisfying us.
What should we speak of when we are old as you? We have nothing. We have nothing. We need to go to war right now.
Oh, I know of many in the army, many years. And besides, king has not deserved my service, nor your loves.
Pray, sir, to the army. I and my brother are not known. Yourself, so out of thought, and thereto so overgrown, cannot be questioned.
By the sun that shines all thither. What thing is it that I never did see man die? Scarce ever looked upon blood except for that of coward hare, hot goats, and venison. Never bestrode a horse except for one who had a rider like myself, who never wore rowel nor iron on his heel. I'm ashamed to look upon the holy sun, to have the benefit of his blessed beams, remaining so long a poor unknown.
By heavens, I'll go. If you will bless me, sir, and give me leave, I'll take the better care. But if you will not, the hazard therefore do fall on me by the hands of Romans.
So say I, amen.
No reason I, since of your lives you set so slight a valuation, should reserve my craft and more care. Have with you, boys. If in your country wars you chance to die, that's my bed too, lads, and there I'll lie. Lead, lead. The time seems long, their blood thinks scorn, to let fly out and show them princes born.
Yeah, bloody cloth. Keep thee for I wish thou shouldst be colored thus. You married ones, if each of you should take this course, how many must murder wives much better than themselves for rhyme but a little? Oh, Pisanio, each good servant does not all commands, no bond but to do just ones. Gods, if you should have taken vengeance on my faults, I never have lived to put on this. So have you saved the noble Imogen to repent, and struck me, wretch, more worth your vengeance. But alack, you snatched them hence for little faults. That's love, to have them fall no more. You some permit to second ills with ills, each elder worse, and make them dread it to the doer's thrift. But Imogen is your own. Do your best wills and make me blessed to obey. I am brought hither among the Italian gentry, and to fight against my lady's kingdom. 'Tis enough that, Britain, I have killed thy mistress. Peace, I'll give no wound to thee. Therefore, good heavens, hear patiently my purpose. I'll disrobe me of these Italian weeds and suit myself as does a Briton peasant. So I'll fight against the part I come with. So I'll die for thee, oh Imogen, even for whom my life is every breath, a death. And thus, unknown, pitied, nor hated, to the face of peril myself I'll dedicate. Let me make men no more valor in me than my habits show. Gods, put the strength of the Leonati in me. To shame that guides the world, I will begin the fashion, less without and more within.
to Britain go before this loud as he exceeds our lords. The odds is, we scarce are men and you are gods.
Nothing rounds us but the villainy of our people!
Camest thou from where they made the stand?
I did. Though you, it seems, come from the flyers.
I did.
No blame be to you, sir, for all was lost. But that the heavens fought. The king himself of his wings destitute, the army broken, and but the backs of Britain seen. All flying through a straight lane, the enemy full-hearted struck down some mortally, some slightly touched, some falling merely through fear.
Where was this lane?
Close by the battle, ditched and walled with turf, which gave advantage to an ancient soldier. He, with 2 striplings. Lads more like to run the country base than to commit such slaughter, with faces fit for masks, or rather fair. Our Britain's hearts die flying, not our men. To darkness fleet souls to fly backwards, stand! These 3 began to grin like lions upon the pikes of the hunters. Then began a stop of the chaser, a retire, anon a rout, confusion thick. Heavens, how they wound!
This was strange chance. A narrow lane, an old man and 2 boys.
I, in mine own woe charmed, could not find death where I did hear him groan, nor feel him where he struck. Well, I will find him. Being now a favor to the Briton. No more Britain. I have resumed the part I came in. Fight I will, no more, but yield me the veriest hanging that should once touch my shoulder. Great the slaughter is here made by the Roman. Great the answer be Britain's mistake. For me, my ransom's death. On either side I come to spend my breath, which neither here I'll keep nor bear again, but end it by some means, for Imogen.
Great Jupiter be praised! Lucius has taken. 'Tis thought the old man and his sons were angels.
There was a 4th man and a silly habit that gave the front with them.
So 'tis reported, but none of them can be found. Stand! Who's there?
A Roman who would not have been drooping here for seconds and answered him.
Lay hands on him! A dog! A leg of Rome shall not return to tell what shroves pecked them here. He brags his service as if he were of note. Bring him to the king.
You have locks upon you. You shall not now be stolen. So graves as you find pasture. Eye or stomach.
Most welcome bondage, for thou art away, I think, to liberty. Death is the key to unbar these locks. My conscience, thou art fettered more than my shanks and wrists. Good gods, give me the penitent instrument to pick that bolt then, free forever. Is it enough I am sorry? So children temporal fathers do appease. Gods are more full of mercy. Must I repent? I cannot do it better than in gyves. Desired more than constrained. I know you are more clement than vile men, who of their broken debtors take a third, a sixth, a tenth, letting them thrive again on their abatement. That's not my desire. For Imogen's dear life, take mine. No, 'tis not so dear, yet 'tis a life. You coined it. Between man and man, they weigh not every stamp. And so, great powers, if you will take this audit, take this life, and cancel these cold bonds. Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence.
No more, thou Thundermaster, show thy spite on mortal flies. Hath my poor boy done aught but well, whose face I never saw? I died whilst in the womb he stayed, attending nature's law. Whose father then, as men report, thou orphan's father art, thou shouldst have been, and shielded him from this earth-vexing smart.
Lucina lent me not her aid, but took me in my throes. That from me was Posthumus ripped, came crying amongst his foes, a thing of pity.
Great nature, like his ancestry, molded the stuff so fair, that he deserved the praise of the world as great Sicilius' heir.
When once he was mature for man, in Britain where was he, that could stand up his parallel, or fruitful object be, in eye of Imogen, that best could deem his dignity?
With marriage wherefore was he mocked, to be exiled and thrown from Leonides' seat, and cast from her his dearest one, sweet Imogen.
Why did you suffer Iachimo, slight thing of Italy, to taint his nobler heart and brain with needless jealousy?
From stiller seats we came, our parents and us twain, that fighting in our country's cause, fell bravely and were slain.
Like hardiment Posthumus hath to Cymbeline performed. Then Jupiter, thou king of gods, why hast thou thus adjourned? The Graces for his merits due, all to dolors turned.
Since Jupiter, our son is good, take off his miseries.
Peep through thy marble mansion, help, or we poor ghosts will cry, to the shining synod of the rest, against thy deity.
Help, Jupiter, we appeal, and from thy justice fly.
No more, you petty spirits of region low, offend our hearing, hush! How dare you ghosts accuse the thunderer, whose bolt, you know, sky-planted, scatters all rebelling coasts? Poor shadows of Elysium, hence, and rest upon your never-withering banks of flowers. Be not with mortal accidents so pressed. No care of yours it is, you know 'tis ours. Whom best I love I cross, to make my gift the more delayed, delighted. Be content, your low-laid son our Godhead will uplift. His comforts thrive, his trials well are spent. Our jovial star reigned at his birth, and in our temple was he married. Rise and fade. He shall be lord of Lady Imogen, and much happier by his affliction made. This tablet lay upon his breast, wherein our pleasure his full fortune doth confine. And so away, no farther with your din express impatience, lest you stir up mine.
Thanks, Jupiter. Away, and to be blessed, let us with care perform his great behest.
Sleep. Thou hast been a grandsire and begot a father to me. And thou hast created a mother and two brothers, but, oh, scorn. Gone. They went hence so soon as they were born, and so I am awake. Poor wretches that depend on greatness' favor. Dream as I have done, wake and find nothing. book? Oh, a rare one. Be not, this is our fangled world, a garment nobler than that it covers. Let thy effects so follow, to be most unlike our courtiers as good as promise. When as a lion's whelp shall, to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air, and when from a stately steer shall be lopped branches, which, being dead many years, shall after revive, be joined to the old stalk and freshly grow, then shall Posthumus end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty? 'Tis still a dream, or else such stuff as madman tongue and brain not. Either both or nothing, or senseless speaking, or speaking such as sense cannot untie.
Come, sir. Are you ready for death?
Well, the roasted rather, ready long ago.
Hanging is the word, sir. If you are ready for that, you are well cooked.
So, if I prove a good repast to the spectators, the dish pays the shot.
A heavy reckoning for you, sir. But the comfort is, you shall be called to no more payments. Fear no more tavern bills, which are often the sadness of parting, as the procuring of mirth. You come in faint for want of meat. Depart reeling with too much drink. Sorry that you have paid too much, and sorry that you are paid too much. Purse and brain both empty. The brain the heavier for being too light. The purse too light, being drawn of heaviness. Oh, of this contradiction you shall now be quit. Oh, the charity of a penny cord. It sums up thousands in a trice. You have no true debitor and creditor but it, of what's past, is, and to come, the discharge. Your next, sir, is pen, book, and counters. So the acquittance follows.
I am merrier to die than thou art to live.
Indeed, sir. He that sleeps feels not the toothache. But a man that were to sleep your sleep, and a hangman to help him to bed, I think you would change places with this officer. For like you, sir, you know not which way you shall go.
Yes, indeed do I, fellow.
Your death has eyes in his head, then. I have not seen him so pictured. You must either be directed by some that take upon them to know, or take upon yourself that which I am sure you do not know, or jump the after inquiry on your own peril. And how you'll speed in your journey's end? I think you'll never return to tell one.
I tell thee, fellow, there are none one eyes direct them the way I am going, but such as wink and will not use them.
What an infinite mock is this? That a man should have better use of eyes to see the way of blindness? I'm sure hanging is the way of winking.
Knock off his manacles. Bring your prisoner to the king.
Thou bringest good news. I am called to be made free.
I'll be hanged then.
Thou shalt then be freer than a jailer. No bolts for the dead.
Unless a man should marry a gallows and beget young gibbets, I never saw one so prone. Yet on my conscience there are very knaves desire to live, for all he be a Roman, and there be some of them too that die against their wills. So should I, if I were one. I would we were all of one mind, and one mind good. Oh, there were desolation of jailers and gallowses, I speak against my present profit. But my wish hath a preferment in it.
Stand by my side, you whom the gods have made preservers of my throne. Woe is my heart that the poor soldier who so richly fought, whose rags, shame-gilded arms, cannot be found. He shall be happy that can find him if our grace can make him so.
I never saw such noble fury in so poor a thing. Such precious deeds in one that promised not but beggary and poor looks.
No tidings of him?
He hath been searched among the dead and living, but no trace of him.
To my grief, I am the heir of his reward, which I will add to thee, the liver, heart, and brain of Britain, by whom I grant she lives. 'Tis now the time to ask from whence you are. Report it.
Sir, in Cambria are we born, and gentlemen.
Bow your knees. I create you companions to our person, and will fit you with dignities becoming your estates. Arise, my knights to battle. There's business in these faces. Why so sadly greet you our victory? You look like Romans, and not of the court of Britain.
Hail, great king. To sour your happiness, I must report the queen is dead.
How ended she?
With horror, madly dying like her life, which being cruel to the world, concluded most cruel to herself. This, her woman, can trip me if I err.
Prithee say.
First, she confessed she never loved you, only affecting greatness got by you, not you.
She alone knew this. But she spoke it dying. I would not believe her lips in opening it. Proceed.
Your daughter, whom she bore in hand to love with such integrity, she did confess was as a scorpion to her sight, whose life, but that her flight prevented it, she had taken off by poison.
Oh, most delicate fiend! Who is can read a woman? Is there more?
More, sir, and worse. She did confess she had for you a mortal mineral, which being taken, should by the minute feed on life, in which time she purposed by kissing, weeping, to overcome you with her show. And in time, when she had fitted you with her craft, to work her son into the adoption of the crown. But failing of her end by his strange absence, grew shameless desperate, repented the evils she hatched were not effected, and so despairing, died.
Heard you all of this, her woman?
I did, so please, your highness.
Mine eyes were not at fault, for she was beautiful. Mine ears that heard her flattery, nor my heart that thought her like her seeming. It had been vicious to have mistrusted her. Yet, oh my daughter, that it was folly in me thou mayst say, and prove it in thy feeling. Heaven and all. Thou comest not, Caius, now for tribute that the Britons have raised out, though with the loss of many a bold one, whose kinsmen have made suit that their good souls may be appeased with the slaughter of you, their captive, which ourself have granted. So think on your estate.
Consider, sir, the chance of war. The day was yours by accident. Had it gone with us, we should not, when the blood was cool, have threatened our prisoners with the sword. But since the gods love it thus, that nothing but our lives may be called ransom, let it come. This one thing only I will entreat. My boy, a Briton born, let him be ransomed. Never master had a page so kind, so duteous, so diligent, so tender. He hath done no Briton harm, though he has served a Roman. Save him, sir, and spare no blood beside.
I have surely seen him. His favor is familiar to me. Boy, thou hast looked thyself into my graces, and art mine own. I know not why. Wherefore, to say, live, boy, ne'er thank thy master, live, and ask Cymbeline what boon thou wilt. Fitting my bounty in thy state, I'll give it. Yea, though thou do demand a prisoner, the noblest tame.
I humbly thank your highness.
I do not bid thee beg my life, good lad, and yet I know thou shalt.
No. No, alack. There's other work at hand. I see a thing bitter to me is death. Thy life, good master, must shuffle for itself.
The boy disdains me. Why stands he so perplexed?
What wouldst thou, boy? I love thee more and more. Think, more and more, what's best to ask. Know'st he thou look'st on? Speak. Wilt have him live? Is he thy kin, thy friend?
He is a Roman, no more kin to me than I to your highness, who, being born your vassal, am something nearer.
Wherefore iced him so?
I'll tell you, sir, in private, if you please to give me hearing.
Aye, with all my heart, and lend the best of my attention. What's thy name?
Fidele, sir.
Thou art my good youth, my page. I'll be thy master. Walk with me. Speak freely.
Is not this boy revived from death?
One said another not more resembles that sweet rosy lad who died and was Fidele. What think you?
The same thing dead, alive.
Peace, peace. Were he, I am sure he would have spoke to us.
Well, we saw him dead.
Be silent. Let's see further.
It is my mistress. Since she be living, let time run on to good or bad.
Come, stand thou by our side, and make thy demand aloud. Sir, step you forth. Give answer to this boy, and do it freely. Or, by our greatness and the grace of it, which is our honor, bitter torture shall winnow the truth from falsehood. On, speak to him.
My boon is that this gentleman may render of whom he had this ring.
What's that to him?
That diamond upon your finger, say how came it yours?
Thou wilt torture me to leave unspoken that which to be spoke would torture thee.
How, me?
I am glad to be constrained that to utter which torments me to conceal. By villainy I got this ring. 'Twas Leonardus' jewel whom thou did banish, and which more may grieve thee as it doth me. Ne'er nobler sir than twixt sky and ground. Wilt thou hear more, my lord?
All that belongs to this.
That paragon, thy daughter, for whom my heart drops blood and my false spirits quail to remember, give me leave, I faint.
My daughter? What of her? Renew thy strength. I would rather thou shouldst live while nature will than die ere I hear more. Strive, man, and speak.
The good Posthumus, hearing us praise our loves of Italy for beauty that made barren this fell boast.
I stand on fire. Come to the matter.
All too soon I shall, unless thou wouldst grieve quickly. This Posthumus, he began his mistress's picture, which by his tongue being made.
Nay, nay, to the purpose.
Your daughter's chastity, there it begins. I, wretch, made scruple of his praise and wagered him pieces of gold against this which then he wore upon his honored finger, to attain him suit the place of his bed, and to win by hers and mine adultery this ring. Away to Britain post I in this design. Well may you remember me, sir, at court, where I was taught of your chaste daughter the wide difference twixt amorous and villainous. Being thus quenched of hope, not longing, mine Italian brain again your duller Britain operate most vilely. And to be brief, my practice so prevailed that I returned with similar proof enough to make the worthy Leonardus mad. Methinks I see him now.
So thou dost, Italian fiend! Give me cord, or knife, or poison, some upright justicer. Thou, king, send out for torturers ingenious. It is I that all the abhorred things of the earth amend by being worse than they. I am Posthumus, that killed thy daughter. Villain-like, I lie, that caused a lesser villain myself, a sacrilegious thief to do it. Be villain be called Posthumus Leonardus, and be villainy less than 'twas. Imogen, my queen, my life, my wife. Imogen.
Peace, my lord, here!
House of a plagueis? A scornful painter by the heart.
Oh, gentlemen, help, your mistress. Oh, Posthumus, you ne'er killed Imogen till now.
If this be so, the gods do me to strike me to death with mortal joy.
How fares my mistress?
Oh, get thee from my sight! Thou gavest me poison! Dangerous fellow, hence! Breathe not where princes are!
The tune of Imogen.
Lady, the gods throw stones of sulfur on me. If that thing I gave you was not thought by me a precious thing. I had it from the queen.
New matter still?
It poisoned me! Oh, gods! I left out one thing which the queen did confess that must approve the honest. If Pisanio have, said she, given his mistress that confection which I gave him for cordial, she is served as I would serve a rat.
What's this, Cornelius?
The queen, sir, very often importuned me to temper poisons for her, still pretending the satisfaction of her knowledge only in killing creatures vile. I, dreading that her purpose was of more danger, did compound for her a certain stuff which should seize the present power of life, but in time, all offices of nature would again do their due functions. Have you ta'en of it?
Most like, for I was dead.
My boys, there was our error.
This is sure Fidele.
Why do you throw your wedded lady from you? Think you're on a rock, and throw me again.
Made her like fruit myself till the tree died.
How now? My flesh, my child. What, makest thou me a dullard in this act? Wilt thou not speak to me?
Your blessing, sir.
My tears that fall prove holy water on thee. Imogen, thy mother's dead.
I am much sorry for it, sir.
She was not. Long for her it was that we meet here so strangely. But her son is gone, and we know not how nor where.
Now that fear is from me, I'll speak truth. Lord Cloten, upon my lady's missing, came to me. By accident, I had a feigned letter of my master's, then in my pocket, which directed him to seek her in the mountains near to Milford, where, in a frenzy, in my master's garments, which he did enforce from me, away he posts with unchaste purpose, and with oath to violate my lady's honor. What became of him, I further know not.
Let me in the story. I slew him there.
Mary, gods forfend. I would not thy good deeds from my lips pluck a hard sentence. Valiant youth, deny it again.
I have spoken, and I did it.
He was a prince.
Most uncivil one. The wrongs he did me were nothing prince-like, for he did provoke me with words that would make me spurn the sea if it could roar to me thus. Cut off his head, and I am right glad he's now standing here to tell the tale of mine.
I'm sorry for thee. By thine own tongue thou art condemned, and must endure our law. Thou art dead.
That headless man I thought had been my lord.
Find the offender. Take him from our presence.
Stay, Sir King. This man is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself, and hath more of thee merited than a band of Clotens had ever starved for. Let his arms alone. They were not born for bondage.
Why, old soldier, wilt thou undo the work thou art unpaid for by tasting of our wrath? How of descent as good as we?
Thou hadst, great king, a subject who is called Belarius.
What of him? He's a banished traitor.
He it is that hath assumed this age. Indeed, a banished man, I know not how a traitor.
Take him hence. The whole world shall not save him.
I am too blunt and saucy. Here's my need. Ere I arise, I will prefer my sons, and spare not the old father. Mighty sir, these two young gentlemen that call me father, and think they are my sons, are none of mine. They are the issue of your loins, my lady, as well as your begetting.
How? My issue?
So sure as you, your fathers. I, old Morgan, and that Belarius whom you sometime banished. Your pleasure was my mere offense, my punishment itself, and all my treason. That I suffered was all the harm I did. These gentle princes, for such and so they are, these 20 years have I trained up. Their nurse, Euryphile, whom for the theft I wedded, stole these children upon my banishment. But, gracious sir, here are your sons again, and I must lose two of the sweetest companions in the world.
Thou weepst and speakst. The service you three have done is more unlike than this thou tell'st. I lost my children. If these be they, I know not how to wish a pair of worthier sons.
Be pleased a while. This gentleman, who I call Polydor, most worthy prince, as yours is true Guiderius. This gentleman, my Codwall, are Viragus, your younger princely son.
Darius had upon his neck a mole, a sanguine star. It was a mark of wonder.
This is he, who hath upon him still that natural sin. It was wise nature's end in the donation, to be his evidence now.
Blessed pray ye be, that after this strange starting from your orbs may reign in them now. Oh, Imogen, thou hast lost by this a kingdom.
No, my lord, I have got 2 worlds by it. My gentle brothers, have we thus met? You called me brother when I was but your sister. I you brothers and you were so indeed.
Did you wear meat?
Aye, my good lord. And at first meeting loved, and continued so until he thought he died.
By the queen's strength, she swallowed.
Oh, rare instinct. When shall I hurl through? Let us quit with this crown and smoke the temples with our sacrifices. Thou art my brother, so will hold thee ever.
Thou art my father too, and did relieve me to see this gracious season.
All are joyed, save these in bonds. Let them be joyful too, for they shall taste our comfort. Forlorn soldier, that so nobly fought, he would have well become this place, and graced the thankings of a king.
I am, sir, the soldier that accompanied his three and quarter scene. 'Twas offended for the purpose I then followed, that I was here. Speak, Iachimo. I had you down and might have made you finish.
I am down again, but now my heavy conscience bends my knee as your force did then. Take that life which I so often owe, but your ring first, and here the bracer of the truest princess that ever swore her faith.
Kneel not to me. The power I have on you is to spare you, the malice towards you, to forgive you. Live and deal with others better.
Nobly tuned. We'll learn our freeness of the son-in-law. Pardon's the word, to all.
Very good, my lord of Rome. Call forth your soothsayer. As I slept, methought great Jupiter appeared to me with other sprightly shows of mine own kindred. When I waked, I found this label in my bosom, whose containing is so from sense and harvest I can make no collection of it. Let him show his skill in the construction.
Philharmonics! Read and declare the meaning.
When, as a lion's whelp shall, to himself unknown, without seeking find, and be embraced by a piece of tender air, when from a stately cedar shall be lopped branches, which, being dead many years, shall after revive, be jointed to the old stock and freshly grow, then shall posthumous end his miseries, Britain be fortunate, and flourish in peace and plenty. Thou, Leonatus, art the lion's whelp. The fit and apt construction of thy name, being Leonatus, doth import so much. The piece of tender air, thy virtuous daughter. We call it Mollisaire, and Mollisaire we term it Mulier, which Mulier I define is this most constant wife, who even now, attending the letter of the oracle, unknown to you, unsought, were clipped about with this most tender air.
This hath some seeming.
The lofty cedar, royal Cymbeline, personates thee. Thy lopped branches point thy two sons forth, who, by Bellaria stolen, for many years thought dead, are after revived, to the majestic cedar joined, whose issue promises Britain peace and plenty.
Well, my peace we will begin. And Caius Lucius, although the victor, we submit to Caesar and the Roman Empire, promising to pay the wanted tribute.
The vision which I made known to Lucius at this instant is full accomplished. For the Roman eagle, from south to west, on wings soaring aloft, lessened herself, and in the beams of the sun so vanished, which foreshowed our prince the eagle, the imperial Caesar, should again unite his favor with the radiant Cymbeline, which shines here in the west.
Publish we this peace to all our subjects. Step forward, and let a Roman and a British ensign wave friendly together. So through Lud's town march, and in the temple of great Jupiter, our peace will ratify. Seal it with feasts. Set on there. Never was a war did cease. Our bloody hands were washed with such a peace.